Hi, welcome to the next episode of Joyful Disciples. And I am so excited to bring you an episode that actually brings you another very joyful disciple from the Diocese of Camden. She completely embodies what it means to find the joy in being the hands and feet of Jesus. Hi, Donna Ottaviano Britt here with the next episode of Joyful Disciples. I am so delighted to introduce you to a powerhouse in service to the poor that's in our diocese. So I'd like to introduce you to Marlene Lanider. Marlene.
Hi, guys.
So some of you might remember Marlene if you watched the Justice for All dinner. And she received a Disciple of Mercy award from the diocese. And she does beautiful work. And if the name of this show is Joyful Disciples, then I think no one is more joyful at the moment in the work that she does, being the hands and feet of Jesus. So we're going to talk to her for a little bit today so she can share her work and how she anchors in her spirituality to continue the work that's so necessary.
Two of my favorite people. How are you?
Oh, look.
This morning at Mass, we talked about the building up the kingdom of God, and Christ talking about the presence of the kingdom is already among us. And you think about the great work that Jesus did, healing the sick, raising the dead. Nobody can compare to what he did. But here's a true proof of the example of God's kingdom being built up and the great work that Marlene does on behalf of the poor and the needy in our diocese. I couldn't be prouder enough to have you as a parishioner, and I love you, and I thank you for all the great things that you do for us.
I love you too, Father.
Thank you.
And thank you for having me. I thank you for interviewing me. And we're going to tell you how you can be a disciple of Jesus and do this too, because it's right down here on 676, and there's so many people that need your help. And it's so easy, and it's so rewarding, and it's fun. It's fun.
So Marlene, can you share a little bit of your background? So where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Camden, New Jersey, and this is all part of the story.
So so what's the name of your ministry?
It's Friends of Fairview Give Back, and we have a Facebook page.
And can you tell the story that you have shared about how this started in 2012? It's a powerful story.
It first started out, I saw a thread on Fairview about a little girl that didn't have a home. She was homeless, and it was right in the town of Fairview. And right after that, a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, posted that she was going to go out and send out sandwiches, bagged lunches. Bingo.
So Marlene shared with me that they were hoping here at the Parish of Incarnation, they could start making sandwiches for the poor, and with a target of 100 sandwiches. Now, 8 years later, how many sandwiches are being made from here?
I think, and John, don't tell me if I say it wrong, but I think it was like 968 sandwiches was the last Sunday of the month, and 18 casseroles.
So you don't just take food to the poor and the homeless in Camden. You take lots of other things that they need, right?
They keep all their belongings in a backpack, just a backpack. So over the years, I've learned what they need. Socks are the number one cherished thing. So what we take for granted, they need socks. They keep everything in their backpack, toiletries. Sometimes we've dressed people right in the parking lot.
So they get new, fresh clothes.
Fresh clothes.
Fresh clothes.
When it rains, they don't have nothing to change into.
What are they asking for this year, Marlene?
Home of the Brave is a shelter in Camden, which houses homeless veterans. One side is homeless veterans. The other side is civilians. A lot of these gentlemen are coming out of the jail, and some of them are coming off the street. Their number one request this year is umbrellas.
So they can stay dry, and that's what they're asking for. So Marlene is heading up a big effort to try and collect all of these umbrellas and needs a lot of them. Can you share, Marlene, the whole motto for your ministry? It's really beautiful.
I think the first 2 years I was learning a lot of things, but we got a lot of little guys in Camden. And seeing everything and seeing everybody here at Incarnation on both sides of the fence, the poor and the people that help me do what I do, everything is through the eyes of children. And that's what we need to do.
Is to see our brothers and sisters through the eyes of children.
Absolutely.
think
It will
it's-
make us all so rich.
I think it's a really beautiful way for us to look at our brothers and sisters. Jesus always said the poor would be with us. But our responsibility as missionary disciples, as disciples and missionary disciples, is to give them an encounter with Jesus. And that's really what you're doing. I would like Marlene now to share what the young children here at the Parish of Incarnation do with the sandwich bags.
Oh, good one, good one, good one. This is so cool. When COVID happened, it changed a lot of people's patterns of the way they do things. And Father Gormley is my brain. And he said, why don't we take what we were doing in here and, put messages on the bags and make everybody happy. And the parents and the children would gather, and each week, each week we would bring out more tables. So the crowd was getting bigger and bigger. And we would bring in more crayons and more paper bags. I'd be running to ShopRite. But my message is, I wanted to publish these paper bags because they would make rainbows, and I hope you enjoy your lunch. And then they would make inspirational messages about God and about Jesus and about the Blessed Mother. What were coming out of these children's brains were amazing. And we ought to all learn from it. So if this was in a book, it would win.
It would win for sure. And you have shared with me previously that the homeless will keep those notes. They hang on to them. So if they're only traveling with a backpack, Marlene, they're putting those notes sometimes in the backpack and saving them. And that's really out of the hearts of young children. So your motto is right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Makes me smile.
And the other thing Marlene talks about is she's building relationships with these poor people. They trust her. She's made friendships. They have friends. We all know there are brothers and sisters that have to live this way. And a lot of them suffer from mental illness, correct?
Correct.
So to make friends is a very challenging thing. So Marlene has been doing amazing work with many others. So on this show, we talk a lot about how to be a disciple. Baptism calls us to it. We are followers of Jesus. Marlene is clearly a disciple of Jesus. But baptism also calls us to be missionary disciples. And that means to form others to follow Christ. And it's really a wonderful effort that you're doing here. And here's the thing that I want to share with you. You'll see her on this video. I'm standing with her, and her joy and her holiness radiates out of her face and in the work that she does. And the last question I have for you, Marlene, is we all need a deep and abiding spiritual life. What's your spiritual life like, if you would be willing to share with us, to think, how do you maintain your efforts in these work? How do you continue to be the hands and feet of Jesus? What's your spiritual life like?
Well, it started when I went to Catholic school my entire life to learn the manual part. I had a brain injury in 2001. Now I'm learning the spiritual part where you love one another from here. And I like it much better. I like it much better. And you can do it too. Everybody can do it. Just do one good deed a day. Start out by doing one good deed a day. And it makes you smile. And you want to do another one. And you want to do another one. And there's just so many people that need it right now. And wait till you see where it gets you. It's amazing. Try it. You'll see me next next show, and you tell me, and we'll have a talk session, and you tell me how it got you.
Because don't you say that? For as hard as you work, you get more from these people, the people you collaborate with and co-labor with in order to serve. You get much more
Absolutely.
than you give.
Absolutely.
And I think it's just really, it's beautiful work that's happening. And to what Marlene said, we are 500,000 Catholics strong in the Diocese of Camden. If 500,000 Catholics did one good deed a day for our brothers and sisters who are so in need, we will become the mission hospital that Pope Francis is calling for. So Marlene, I want to thank you for your willingness to share your journey, to share what she does with us. There's so much to learn here. And we're going to put Marlene's link in the show notes in case you'd like to donate, because she makes Incarnation Parish Hall crowded. And she also says her home is filled with donations that she needs.
Umbrellas.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Say a few things.
Now, Brown. I will never be able to talk as well as his voice is.